Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carolee Makes Cards. Today's cards are all about birthday celebrations featuring Spellbinders shopping cart with accessories from the cute die set Party On. Both of these sets are so awesome and adorable, I just love them. These fun shopping carts can be dressed up for many occasions with different accessory packages that Spellbinders has available. So let's get started. I began by constructing my shopping carts. To die cut the main part of the shopping cart, you will need the die for the basket and its outline. I like to center one die in the middle of the other and then use a little bit of post-it note to hold it together. I am making 2 shopping carts, so I need 2 die cuts for each one. This die cuts the handle for the cart. Initially I cut one, but then I decided I wanted 2 for each cart. This next die is for the undercarriage of the shopping cart that the wheels will be attached to. Just one is needed for each cart. The double circle die cuts both the wheels and the hubs. And this little die cuts the hand grip for the handle and an accessory piece for the basket. And these dies are why I am making 2 shopping carts. The dies that I'm holding up now produce a narrower shopping cart. The die with the 4 little branches will form the bottom of the basket. 2 pieces will be cut from the second die. This will form the front and the back of the cart. You can see I have already creased the score lines on one of them, and that will be at the back of the cart. The other die cut is too tall for the front of the basket. Although difficult to see in this video, in addition to the 2 vertical score lines, there are 2 horizontal ones. When the top and the bottom are trimmed off, it will fit the front of the basket perfectly. Now these dies look very similar to the other dies, but they're wider and they produce a basket that has more depth to it. So when I hold up the 2 die cuts for the bottom of the cart side by side, you can see the difference in the depth. We're going to assemble the narrower basket first. The score lines are creased for the die cut for the bottom of the cart. The die cut for the back of the cart is creased and folded and adhered to the cart. The ends on this die cut are angled, and I make sure that that matches the angle on the cart. Remember, the same die is used to cut the piece for the front of the cart. The 2 horizontal score lines indicate where it is to be trimmed down. Now it can be adhered to the front of the cart. All the tabs are dotted with glue on the die cut for the bottom of the cart. It is slipped into the U-shaped channel on either side of the cart. I hold it together for a few seconds until the glue sets up. After applying a thin line of glue to the front and back tabs, the other side of the basket can be attached. The 3-dimensional basket is then attached to the undercarriage. When the basket is attached, it will follow the line of that upper frame, and the bottom of the basket will look slightly tilted upwards. So now I am attaching the handle. I probably should have adhered the hand grip on first. I used a dot of glue and my jewel picker to get that small piece in place. After the cart was fully assembled, I ended up adding in a second handle, and I also added in a second accent piece. You can see me popping in the first one now. Lastly, glue is added to the axles, and the wheels and hubs are adhered. So here I go adding in that second handle, which of course is completely unnecessary, but I can be a little bit anal like that. And also the second accent piece, which I think kind of looks nice. So now for the second card, the glitzy gold one with the wider base. Here you see me trimming down what will be the U-shaped channel so that it will fit the front of the basket. I am cutting along the 2 horizontal score lines. The 2 vertical score lines are creased and it's ready to go. I begin by attaching the back piece, making sure that the angled ends match those of the cart. Because I'm using glitter paper, I actually have to hold the pieces for quite some time before they adhere together. Then the U-channel for the front of the cart is attached, again making sure that the ends match the angle of the cart. I set that aside to let the glue dry and go ahead and add the grips to the handles. Glue is applied to all of the tabs on the die cut for the bottom of the basket. The ends are slipped into the bottom of the U-shaped channels. Again, because of the glitter paper, it does take a little while so that it adheres, and I do have to hold it together. In more ways than one. The other side of the basket is attached. I give the basket a few minutes to set up completely before I attach it to its underframe. Next, both handles are adhered. When the basket is attached to the bottom of the cart, the basket follows the line of the upper frame. When you're looking at just the bottom of the basket, it looks like it's tilting upwards. The aqua accents are added to the basket. This cart is finished up with wheels and aqua hubs. So here they are side by side, one narrow and the other a little bit wider. Those of you who visit me on my blog know that I moved about 4 months ago. I'm still working through products that I've received but didn't have time to use. And here's one of them, the Spring Flowers Card Creator. I happen to think that this is a perfect background for any birthday card. 4 of the corner pieces and 2 of the ring attachers were die cut out of white cardstock. I'm assembling one side at a time, using the grid on my mat to ensure that it is square. Once both sides are assembled, then they're put together to form a rectangle. Again, I use the grid to make sure that I've got everything nice and square. This lacy panel is adhered to an A2 size piece of white cardstock. Glue is applied around each perimeter of the corner pieces and the ring centers. I also dot glue here and there all over that floral pattern. With the background complete, I go ahead and work on the foiled sentiments. Mini Sentiments, a glimmer plate set, has so many wonderful phrases for all occasions. Different sizes of banner dies are included to create the sentiment strips. 2 sentiments will be foiled for each card. The green indicator light signals were ready to go. For the pastel blue shopping cart, the sentiments will be foiled red. After the foil has been laid shiny side down on the glimmer plates, I like to disengage the platform. I don't want anything to shift once my cardstock is down. The cardstock is placed on top, followed by the shim and the cover plate. The platform has been removed from the platinum die cutter. The platform from the Glimmer Hot Foil system is slowly rolled through the die cutting machine. And the fun part, the reveal. The platform for the die cutter goes back into the machine. The sentiments are die cut with the banner dies that came with the set. And there we are, 2 red foil sentiments for the blue cart and 2 blue foil sentiments for the gold cart. The sentiments are mounted on foam die cuts. Both cards will have a sentiment that says celebrate that will be tucked into the shopping carts. When I die cut this sentiment, I did not center it. I wanted the celebrate to be on one end so that there would be room to tuck the other into the cart. Most of the goodies that will fill these shopping carts come from a die set called Shopping Carts Party On. I actually made the bottles for another project but didn't get to use all of them, so they were perfect for this one. But here are the dies that created them. The bottles were die cut from vellum and the detail pieces, the labels, and the cork from matte gold cardstock. All of the contents in the shopping cart have been stacked on foam, as is this bottle. For the blue cart, the mask is cut out of the red cardstock and the flourish to top it off out of the blue. And here is the mask for the gold cart. I'm using the same cardstock that was used to construct the carts for some of the accessories. This is my favorite die out of the Party On set. These designer heels with the sole detail is just adorable. Well, I know you can guess which shopping cart this pair of shoes is going to go with. They are so cute, but seriously, I would never want a pair. I would be crippled. I also die cut 2 sets of the champagne glasses and mounted those on foam. Spellbinders shopping bags die set was used to construct the bags for each cart. On my blog, there will be a link to the post which shows how they are constructed. The background panel is attached to an A2 size card base. So now it's time to pull it all together. I begin by adhering the main sentiment on the card. The shopping cart will be adhered later so that I have some flexibility in arranging the contents in the basket. I begin by positioning where the shopping bag will go because it's the largest item. The vellum foam-backed champagne glasses will sit on top of the bag. When arranging multiple items, I find it easier to group them together. The champagne bottle is tacked on to the side of one of the champagne glasses. The designer shoes will be positioned in such a way that they will give the suggestion that they have been kicked off very tired and sore feet. Back in the day, I can certainly remember times when I've slipped my shoes off in the store to give my feet a rest. The die set Spring Flowers card creator used to create the background also included a small flower die. Blue and gold flowers were placed on top of the white flowers in the background. For the second card, I used all matte gold flowers. The shopping bag grouping is adhered to the inside of the cart. I know I've mentioned this before, but when you adhere anything to glitter paper, you do have to hold it for a couple of minutes. The last few items for the cart are taller. I adhere the shopping cart now so I can make sure that they do not extend beyond the perimeter of the cart base. I make sure to apply glue to all of the surfaces that will come in contact with the background. The Celebrate sentiment strip is going to be positioned inside the shopping bag and then finished off with gold leafy sprigs. The dies for these slender leafy branches were borrowed from Spellbinders Color Block Landscape die set. 4 sets of leaves were tucked into the shopping bag with a little dot of glue to hold them in place. Last but not least, the mask finishes off the shopping cart. To add a little bit of detail, white Nouveau drops is dotted onto the center of all of the flowers. These cards are finished off with some iridescent sequins topped up with Nouveau Crystal Drops Morning Dew. And that wraps up this pair of cards featuring Spellbinders' fabulous shopping cart die set. Aside from the Party On accessory set that I use, there are other sets that you can customize your shopping experience. These die sets really are so versatile and could be used for many different occasions. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making these cards. As always, I appreciate your visit.